Hi, I'm Katy Thoma, President and CEO of the Chico Chamber. Today I'm here with Michael Coogan, who is the managing partner for MC2 Design. And we asked Michael to come today because MC2 Design does all kinds of marketing and messaging for businesses. And we noticed that there were, as businesses are navigating through this COVID season, that their messaging and their marketing have become more important than ever. So Michael, thanks for joining us today. And I just want to hear what it is that you're doing differently these days for your clients. And I know that you actually have some new clients that you're helping.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. As we all know, this has definitely been a different season for business owners. If you've been around for a while, feels a little bit like 9/11 and 2008 recession had a baby, where you've got the economy kind of going sideways, and at the same time there's just like emotional uncertainty. People just kind of don't know what's going to happen, and that's a big part of, I think, most business owners are struggling with, is like, we kind of don't know. None of us know what the economy is going to be like in 3 months or 6 months. There's a little bit, I would say, of a bubble of, I think, confidence, because people have what I'm calling their funny money. We've got our PPP money or whatever we have, and so it's kind of helping us kind of build a bridge. And as we were kind of, just like everybody, kind of punching the jaw of like, oh, this is happening, kind of stepped out and really started to think about what we could do to help others. We have a lot of clients, a lot of local clients, as well as clients regionally and around the country. And one of the main things was just about messaging, was helping them just really we've heard the word pivot a million times, and if you're a business owner for any period of time, you recognize pivots happen constantly. You're just, there's something comes up and you've got to kind of change directions. It's not necessarily a new thing, but pivot was definitely a word that a lot of people were thinking about, and what do we do and how do we move forward. And so one of the most important things really in a time like this was what you're saying, your messaging, right? You need to communicate to your customers in some way. And you don't want to be tone deaf. You don't want to come across as being totally out of touch with what's going on with reality. And at the same time, you want to communicate really in a clear and compelling way of like how your customers can engage with you. We've seen that consumers haven't stopped spending. In fact, a lot of categories have increased during this time, but they've just changed their behaviors and how they're spending. And so depending on whether you're a service-based business or whether you're a retail or whether you're a restaurant, it was super important for us to just kind of get out in front of it and communicate with our clients of, hey, what are you saying to your clients? What's your plans? What are you thinking? Let's make sure that you're on message and you're communicating now what it's like to do business with you now, and what that looks like. And, yes, we're still open, and yes, we can still do this. And that's kind of at the high level of just kind of what we've been doing as a marketing agency. It's really more just about messaging and communication. There, obviously a lot of other things involved in the midst of this world of pivoting. And so, I spent quite a bit of time just checking in with clients and checking in with colleagues, just kind of seeing how they're doing, and, seeing if they had any things that they were doing that we could pull from, and, thinking through that, again, the pivot thing. And for me, really, I just found really helpful was that I kind of made this little kind of acrostic with the word pivot. We actually put it out on some social content, was the idea of just, we needed to get perspective. That's the P, like just gain perspective on what's going on, like getting the facts. The facts are our friends. We get emotional, and that can totally like get us all spun out, really trying to really understand what's going on with our finances, our cash flow. How do we make money now? How do we make money in the future? And really get a sense for that. And then the I was innovate, right? We really needed to be free to really innovate, and just, there's no rock that we shouldn't overturn, right? Everything is on the table. There's no crazy ideas. They're all relevant ideas that potentially could work. And we watched a lot of companies totally pivot and innovate and do something completely different. We've seen a lot of huge companies that we know now that were innovations out of our last recession, and so there's lots of things that could happen. And then V really was just about vision. You kind of know where you want to go as a company, and this is what we see ourselves looking like on the other side, or this is what we're trying to do. How do we meet that vision? And really having kind of at least as clear of a plan as you can get to accomplish that vision. And then just in every crisis, there are opportunities. So the O is really about opportunities. We sometimes get so caught up in the emotion of what's going on and change that's happening. We miss out on things that are right in front of us that we potentially could, you know, as an organizations or as organizations could capitalize on, and what the opportunities are. And kind of back to that same thing, I think that we're going to see that some really cool, innovative opportunities, you know, people taking advantage of, and we're going to see them out the back end of this. Like, hey, when did you start that really successful company? Oh, I started it during, you know, being sheltered in place at home, or while we were kind of rethinking our business. And then the last one really is about team, and it's surrounding yourself with the right people. So you might have a team of people within your organization, and you want your team to buy into that vision, and really, you know, you really want to communicate with them well what's happening. And also for us, for the team that's outside of us, our group of advisors and mentors and other business colleagues are part of that team to kind of help us think through how we're navigating through what we're doing now. We've been around for 30 years, and so we're fortunate to have a deep book of business. And so we were put in a place to where we had to sell harder than we've ever had to before. You know, we've built our business, like a lot of companies, on referral, and, you know, had to kind of do some things that normally weren't part of our normal sales process to generate leads. We found, though, which was really encouraging, that the businesses that came in as leads really recognized the season and were committed to doing what they were doing, that they were going all in with their marketing, understanding that once we started to come back to business as usual, that if they weren't already in front of it, that they were going to be too late and potentially miss out on some opportunities to grow and increase their business. And so the quality of business that we managed to get during that time, they were more committed to moving forward. And then we also did some things with just offering some free kind of advice to anybody. We, you know, for a month or two, and we still do it if somebody's like just trying to figure out, you know, we can do a quick evaluation of their website, of their marketing message, and kind of point them in the right direction. Just because I recognize as a business owner, it's hard. It's hard sometimes. You've got, you know, worries about revenue, worries about, do I need to lay staff off? What does that look like? You know, am I going to survive this? There's just so many things. And depending on where you are as a business, different parts of those pieces are really going to affect you more. And sometimes just thinking about moving forward is really, really hard. And so we're helping some people with that, just helping them just think through how to kind of maybe realign their messaging, how to potentially convert some more business, and just really gain traction in this nutty season.
Well, one of the things that that I was really struck by is your ability to pivot and really look. And I love this perspective, innovate, vision, opportunity, and team. I mean, that's brilliant. And I think that when somebody, you know, who's been sheltering in place, or they've been in the back office of their business that's shuttered because, you know, their restaurant or whatever it is
Right.
that they have, that maybe they think they have this crazy idea, this as they're innovating, and that they need to pivot and they need some assistance, and understanding too that you know, and you not only do you do design, but you also do business consulting, so that because I think that perspective part is really important. Mm-hmm. Because we have found through this COVID, so many businesses initially were just paralyzed. I mean, they were just freaked out and didn't know what to do. And I think we're beyond that now. Yeah. Now it's just, everything's terrible. It feels like it's terrible. But what are we going to do about terrible? Right. You know, what are the solutions? What are the things that I can do to help the cause forward? And I shared with you about Salus Supply and Toby Giesenthaler, you know, like, what can I do? Well, he purchased a mask machine, and now he's doing 100,000 masks a day in Chico, and he hired local people. So what a great innovator, but there's right. involved. And so I think that your company provides opportunity that if people engage with you, that you will take them through that process. And I think the marketing part now is so important, and the messaging. Yeah. Because
you think about messaging. Messaging is a big thing, right? It's like we make decisions to buy based on words we read, right? And quite frequently we're confusing people with just too much, right? It doesn't make sense. whether it's the curse of knowledge and we're using terminology or things that don't make sense with people,
Right.
make sense to your customer. It's really about simplifying, having a clear, consistent message is probably one of the most important things. As marketers, as businesses, we always kind of say, hey, we need to do a website, we need to do digital advertising, we need to do social media. The running to what to do totally makes sense, but we don't spend enough time to think about what we should say.
Right.
And that's really one of our areas of expertise. We're actually a StoryBrand certified agency. So it's actually a marketing and messaging framework that our entire agency has been through. We're one of 12 in the nation.
Wow.
And we really do help our clients just boil down what they do into very simple, concise language. I always tell people when we take them through the process, everybody in their team will be able to clearly, consistently, and confidently talk about what they do. Because when you ask somebody, what does your product do, or what do you do, they start talking. I've heard this a million times. They go into like how their grandfather started the company and this big story, and you just like glaze over. It's just like, when people come and engage with a product or a service, it's basically like a caveman passing a grunt test, right? There's three things. It's like, what do you do? How does it benefit me? Why do I care? And what do I do next, right?
Yes.
If you're not accomplishing that, like right now, then you're missing people. People are swiping away and going somewhere else. And so really, even though we execute a lot of marketing things, we have 17 people on our team doing a lot of great work on the execution side, our real strength isn't that top level of just what is your messaging, how do we boil that down and help you move to the next level and developing a plan to do that.
Well, Mike, I really appreciate your time today. And I think that during this COVID season, as I refer to it as, that I know that there are many companies and businesses that could benefit from really looking at their messaging and their marketing. So MC2Design.com is your website.
That is correct.
I'll hold you there. And I appreciate your time today. And if folks want to get a hold of you, we'll tell them, just drive them to your website and take care and be safe and wear a mask.
Thank you, Katie.
Take care. Bye.
All right.